It's yum. Hi there, you're watching Simply Vegetarian and I'm Geeta. It's summer again and recently I tried making this perfect Summerlicious dessert, a no-bake, gelatin-free mango cheesecake. So let's take a tour on this recipe, and if you're new to this channel, please like, subscribe and leave a comment behind. Hope you guys enjoy this video. First thing first, 2 ripe mangoes. Better if you can get hold of ALPHONSO sweet mangoes like the ones in the image, but this one is semi-sweet and I had to add extra sugar in the cake. Also avoid peeling the cover very thin as they might taste bitter. But here I use this technique, only the pulps required. And the mango I'm using is Badami, also known as Karnataka ALPHONSO, but not as sweet as the original ALPHONSO. Both are Indian varieties. Blended into a fine puree, out of which I got 330 grams approximately. Smooth and well blended. Kept aside and started working with the base of the cheesecake, the crust. For that I used this regular Marigold tea time biscuit. Also I used few of those leftover pistachios, which is optional, but it adds flavor if you have. With the help of a food processor, blended into fine crusts and total 14 pieces of Marie Biscuits. You may use Digestive biscuits or any cookies you love for the base, or crush them with a rolling pin or anything convenient for you. Transferred and added 47 grams of melted butter to bind the crust. A cake mold required, and I have the 6-inch removable base pan. This type of pan is required for a no-bake cheesecake. You may use springform cake pan if you have one, or just a ring. Poured everything and pressed firmly. Best idea, I use this glass with a flat base or use anything flat and convenient. I cover the pan and to let set more firmly, refrigerated for about 20 to 30 minutes. In between, prepared the second layer, which is mango jelly, for which I took 120 grams of mango puree, the one I blended from out of 330 grams, 2 grams of agar agar powder, a plant-based jelly substitute for gelatin, which is a byproduct of animal. And agar agar powder can easily be available online. You can check my video on mango mousse where I have used agar agar and explained a bit about it. Next, 50 ml of water, 15 grams of regular sugar and a teaspoon of lemon juice. Required a pan on the stove and added water along with agar agar powder. Quickly stirred to dissolve agar agar. If left in the water for long without stirring, there might form lumps which you'll find difficult to get rid of. So keep stirring while working with agar agar. It's quite tricky to work with at first, but the powdered form will get easily dissolved. Sugar added and stirred again. After a minute, added mango puree. While doing all this, I kept the heat at medium-low, lest the puree gets burnt. After stirring and cooking for about 5 minutes, I added a teaspoon of lemon juice for that extra lemonade flavor. Stirred and cooked again to let the puree concentrate, slightly thicker. All this took me around 5 to 6 minutes. This was the consistency I required. Then put off the heat and without wasting time poured over the crust. This was well set within half an hour in the fridge. But if in case you plan to cool the puree in the pan and then pour over the crust, then that will be a big mistake. Don't ever think about doing that, cause agar agar will set very quickly and you cannot undo that by trying to heat and melt again. I quickly spread this evenly and let it rest in the fridge while I prepared the mango mixture with the whipping cream. Total whipping cream taken here is 250 ml, or you may use any heavy thick cream, and this cream I whipped only 50%. I didn't whip completely until stiff peaks. This took roughly around 3 to 4 minutes. So this was what I wanted, slightly increased in volume but without the cream being stiff. Then separating 100 grams from this, and the remaining cream 141 grams for later use. Now these were the ingredients for the mango mixture: 50 ml of full fat milk, 5 grams of agar agar powder, 100 grams 50% whipped cream, the remaining mango puree 210 grams, also vanilla essence used half a teaspoon, and lemon juice 1 tablespoon. Added agar agar in the milk, put on the stove at medium low, stirred briskly. Agar agar well dissolved. Then I added 20 grams of granulated sugar, which I forgot to mention and show previously in the ingredients. As I said earlier, this mango is semi-sweet, so I must use sugar a little more than required. Then I added the mango puree, stirred again for about 1 or 2 minutes. Then added 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, that's equal to 1 tablespoon. Vanilla essence. Then I stirred and cooked this for another 3 to 4 minutes. The idea here is to make this liquid a bit concentrated, and later when I add the 50% whipped cream, it will come to the right flowing consistency. Once thickened, put off the heat and add the whipping cream. Having all well combined, then immediately poured upon the cool jelly just out of the fridge. Lightly tapped upon the counter. At this point, if any air bubbles formed at the surface, required to punch them. Again, the second layer, I put it in the fridge to cool down completely, and then I worked with the final layer of cream cheese. As for the cream cheese mixture, I used 200 grams of block cream cheese, which has to be at room temperature, creamed until soft, and added powdered sugar 40 grams. At this point, this recipe calls for a superfine sugar like this one instead of granulated sugar. The granulated sugar may leave a grainy texture in the cream cheese, so better use powdered sugar. Now time to add vanilla, half a teaspoon, and the remaining lemon juice 1 teaspoon. Combined all, kept aside, and again worked with the agar agar powder. Again 30 ml milk required, put on the stove and added agar agar 4 grams. But to my disappointment, at the last moment I had only 2.5 grams of agar agar powder, so I had to do with that. Then added the remaining 141 grams of my whipping cream. Mixed quickly for seconds, put off the heat, and immediately poured upon the cream cheese. That was all well blended and ready to add the top layer. The mango mixture was firmly set. Poured the cream cheese all over to the brim. Any air bubbles formed were removed. Finally, cover the cake with cling film and let this rest in the fridge overnight, or you may chill for 2 hours in the fridge and top up with any fresh fruits you like, or even decorate with cream cheese icing and slice and enjoy. That's totally a choice. But as for me, I wanted to set and chill this cake completely before serving. Also, I was a bit worried about the top layer, that the cream cheese mixture may not turn out as expected. And the end result you'll find out soon. As for the topping, I used mango pulps and some sweet green grapes. I used this glass as a stand to demold the cake. Use this warm cloth soaked in hot water to slightly loosen up the sides. So here was my nearly perfect no-bake mango cheesecake. I honestly don't want to use the word perfect because the top layer of cream cheese was a little short of agar agar, as I had mentioned earlier. Those mango pulps and grapes were chilled as well. So using 5 grams of agar powder would be perfect to stabilize that layer. The cake did remain stabilized at room temperature for some time. But keeping out for too long, only the top layer got a bit slopey. The rest of the layers looked perfect and firm, as it should be. So that is how it looked. Irresistible. Look at the layers, the crust, the mango jelly, mango mixture with whipping cream, and the cream cheese with whipping cream. All together with the base distinct 4 layers. Can you resist that? A perfect Summerlicious dessert. This no-bake mango cheesecake is very light. I can feel the taste of the crust, the pistachios in it. This has added extra taste. And the mixture of lemon juice, vanilla, mango and cream cheese have all enhanced the flavor of this cake. It's yum. It's not very sweet. Try it yourself. You'll definitely love this no-bake cheesecake.